To enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Attention Tucson! We bring you every minute of Arizona men's basketball, both home and away, all season long. We are the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, I'm Alex Medina, new owner of Oro Ford. Everybody's talking about it. It's my 2+2 guarantee. 2% lower taxes, plus I'll beat any new Ford deal in town by 2%.
Oro Ford, where 2 + 2 = Ford.
Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Boswell crosses midcourt. High screen set up by Johnson. Boswell right through traffic to the bucket, blocked by Reno. Grabbed by Stojakovic. He yanked the ball away. He's running with it the other way. Feed it right corner. Carlisle shoots a 3. That is good. That might be it right there.
Not a good weekend. Well, not a good day in Palo Alto. Sunday, New Year's Eve for your Arizona Wildcats. But, hey, the positive, like Kelvin Ifan stated on Sunday afternoon, Arizona got a split. They got a split in the Bay Area, winning at Cal Friday night, but losing by 18 on Sunday against the Stanford Cardinal, a record-setting performance by the Cardinal, who made 16 three-point shots to shoot down the number 4 team in the country, and as a result, knocked down the Arizona Wildcats to number 10 in the latest AP Top 25 poll. Who had the Arizona State Sun Devils leading the Arizona Wildcats in Pac-12 basketball the entire season? Who had that? Who had the Sun Devils ever being on top of the standings above the Arizona Wildcats? I don't think anybody had that. That if you had that on the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook board, you're taking home some money. Just like whoever won that, I think somebody won that $840 million Powerball, which I did not play. Or did I play? No, I did. Did I play that yesterday? I don't remember. I think I did play it yesterday. So clearly it's not me, because I think somebody in Michigan won that $840 million Powerball. One of these days, it's going to happen for me. I can feel it. We can get into all of that. We can get into Arizona men's basketball, how you feel about it, what you think the biggest problem is with this team right now. I've said it consistently. I don't think there's enough outside threats, guys that can shoot the ball outside on this team. Right now, teams are daring Arizona to shoot the ball from the outside. They need to do it. Head on over to our Twitter page right now. J-Dub will tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
Pella Larson needs to shoot the ball maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, all of them. I think all of them just need to I think there are 3 or 4 or 5 guys on this team, DK, who are capable. The issue there is you're talking about an offense that's trying to get the ball to Ballo, trying to get the ball to Keyshawn Johnson. And as Kelvin will talk about, that split-second mind decision that you make in your mind as a player, especially a perimeter player, where the goal is to get it inside. When defenses goad you by playing drop coverage, is what they call it, all of a sudden you're conflicted. You're talking about the scout going through your head. You looked at all the film. You're trying to make sure that you can, punish their interior defense, which is the goal. And all of a sudden you're finding yourself wide open. You just have to shoot those shots with confidence. So I'm not worried about certain guys. I don't know that Jaden Bradley's are particularly good, but he's leading the team in three-point percentage right now, DK. 67% is what he's shooting on a very, very, very small, limited attempts per game. Pella is the highest volume shooter. He's still shooting 50% from the three-point line on the season. So, as far as what happened on Sunday's game, it was just Stanford, 15 for 26, was it, from the three-point line? And Arizona clearly wasn't getting out at those shooters on the other side of the ball as effectively as they possibly could. I'm personally not super worried about one game, and there's clearly a lot of stuff. Coach said the 27th set basketball back with their practice, so clearly there's some things they all need to get on the same page. Maybe it's just that 3 games against 3 top 25 teams in 8 days. They were coming off of that. Maybe they just need some time away from each other, come back, get reassess what their situation is currently, and they're going to be just fine.
Well, unfortunately, you got a short week this week because you played on Sunday, and now you got to come back and play on Thursday. You figured they got back Thursday night. I don't know if they practiced. They probably didn't practice yesterday, and so now you're looking at today and Wednesday to prep for the Colorado Buffaloes, who are coming in here on Thursday night. So
when was the last home game? It was Wisconsin, right?
Wisconsin, yeah.
So they've been away from the friendly confines of McHale Center for a long time. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Alabama and FAU and Purdue were all neutral court games. I mean, the Purdue game was 85% Boilermaker fans there in Indianapolis. Obviously, a lot more Arizona fans are going to be in Vegas and Phoenix as well. But those are all away from home. So first home game this week against Colorado on the 4th, since Wisconsin. Get back in your own beds, get back in your own practice facilities, get back on the same page, and keep doing what you've been doing all season. One game, to me, is not a defining – that's the issue, DK, is we're talking about a sport in which one game defines your season, because if you lose in the first round of the NCAA tournament, you go home. There is no 7-game series in this sport.
You say one game, J-Dub. I'll go back to what I said Sunday. They're 3-3 in the last 6.
Exactly.
I mean, so it may be just more than one game, and now you've got 2 teams in here coming in here that are feeling good about themselves, and maybe that's good. Maybe it's good you've got a 2-0 Colorado and a 2-0 Utah coming to town to kind of wake you up and let you know the Wildcats are going to find out what they've got quickly. Yeah, this week.
Coming into the season, I think the LA schools, a lot of people thought the talent on those rosters would be better than their records, but the mountain schools are the other side of that. Everybody thought Utah and Colorado would both be good teams, especially Colorado this year. Maybe Tad Boyle's best roster that he's had going in. So I'm not surprised whatsoever that the Utes and the Buffs are playing good basketball right now. I think they're going to finish in the top 3, 4, 5 of the standings. So you're right. I mean, you want to see a team. You want to see a challenge after that game. You don't want to see another sleepwalk go up against a team that you're 20, 25-point favorite against going in. You want to see a good challenge in a team that's going to be atop the standings going to the pack to get right after that Stanford loss.
Right now, in terms of the bracketology, we mentioned this last week. Arizona was a number 1 seed after their loss. Joe Lenardi from ESPN has them down to a number 2 seed. So we'll see how that pans out. The number 1 overall team in the tournament right now at this early stage in conference play is the Purdue Boilermakers, as they remain the number 1 team overall in the Associated Press poll.
And Arizona is currently still 4th in net ranking, which is the one that they use. The RPIs no longer use. Net ranking is the one that the committee uses mostly. And what that's usually about is quad 1, 2, 3, and 4 wins and losses. So what you're looking at for Arizona is 1 quad 2 loss, that would be Stanford, and 2 quad 1 losses. So they're 4-2 versus quad 1, 0-1 versus quad 2. So that's the only game they've played. That's like, 50 to 100, something like that.
50 to 100, right.
Yeah, so again, that Stanford loss was not to the 222nd ranked team in the country. It was a team ranked somewhere in the 50 to 100. So as far as the committee and the net rankings concerned, that's not a bad loss on their home court. Not how you wanted. They didn't have a single lead in that entire game. That's a rare thing against any team this year for Arizona. I just look at the hot shooting for the Cardinal, and again, you can't chalk it up to that because that has something to do with Arizona's defensive lapses, not getting out at shooters. And sometimes teams are just going to have a hot night after coming off that loss to the Sun Devils. They needed that win. Kelvin always says it. We always say it. When you've got the Arizona name across your jersey and you're a top-ranked team and the only current team in the conference ranked, guess what? Everybody's going to bring their best shot every single night. It's a season-defining win and can give those teams coming up against you a big bump. It's up to the young guys to really understand that focus from the tip because it's intense. It's the game of the year for almost every team they're going to be playing from here on out.
Rich Carrillo checks in, as he always does. Utah and CU will undoubtedly bring the nasty this week. U of A's perimeter defense is sorry. Those Cats fans who thought the Pac-12 was going to be a walk in the park, best think again. Rich goes on to say, these current Cats have more flaws than claws. The kiddies need to watch some game tape of, he's going old school Cavalier here on me, Bingo Smith, Austin Carr, and Campy Russell and get their minds right. Three great. I love Rich because he always takes it back to my hometown with his check-ins on Twitter. Three great Cleveland Cavaliers, Bingo Smith, Austin Carr, and Campy Russell. Rest in peace, Bingo Smith, who we lost in November. Great number 7 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. All right, 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. Pleased to be joined by the third member of our team, Cricket. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, gentlemen.
How was the weekend? What exciting thing did you get yourself into or not into?
Not into.
Not into.
What about you?
Well, I went down to the Taco Touchdown.
Oh, the taco drop.
Taco Touchdown, yes, that's what they were officially calling it, downtown. Way more people than last year.
Oh, wow.
I mean, apparently it has now become a thing.
Well, you keep talking about it on the radio, how great it is. Now everybody's going out there.
Now we know.
It's my fault. There were maybe last year a few hundred people there. There was probably a few thousand people down there.
Dang.
At the taco drop this weekend. It was crowded. We had everything. We had people. We had protesters, the people out there protesting the Hamas-Israel war. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff going on downtown. But I did get to do the silent disco. I'll have to post a picture of myself at the silent disco. That was so fun. I didn't think I was going to do it at first because my wife had another friend that was coming in, was flying in, and she was getting downtown right about 11. And they're like, well, we got to meet Jennifer. We got to meet Jennifer. And I was like, well, you all go meet Jennifer. I'm going over to the silent disco and have some fun. So I went to the silent disco, and, they give you 3 channels. So they give you like one channel's this kind of 70s and 80s, and another channel. It was funny. They said the other channel was like everything after the 90s, and then they said there was a Spanish channel, but there really wasn't a Spanish channel. It was just kind of like more of like they were playing like a lot of the harder rock kind of party music and that kind of thing, which was really weird. I don't know why they said it was a Spanish channel, but it was fun because you kind of kept going. Oh, you would like, but you didn't know which one you were listening to. So I didn't know if I was listening to Red. I think Red was like the 70s and 80s. I figured that out. But then I'd put it on. I was like, you kind of looked around and like everybody's listening to blue right now. So then I'd take my headset off to see what color I had. And then I'd flip it on the next color that everybody was listening to. Then I'd put it back on. So it was kind of like that. But it was really a fun time.
Good.
Really fun time. I definitely recommend silent disco. Now, did you walk dogs in or anything?
I did on New Year's Eve. Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was early though, I would imagine.
Yes.
Because New Year's Eve is traditionally a night where pets go crazy because of all the fireworks and all that. And I swear to God, every TV station yesterday had a newscast story about finding the dogs, and they anticipate today will be the day that they really start to get the influx of animals who got spooked and ran away.
Yes.
So you know a lot about that. So what do we need to know about, or what do people need to know about if they come across an animal maybe that does not belong to them?
If they can, to keep the dog or cat secure at their home and, post on social media and your neighborhood groups or like the next door neighborhood groups, report to Pima Animal Care Center. And if you're missing a pet, definitely go down to Pima Animal Care Center and walk the kennels. Look into every single kennel or cage for the cats or whatever.
Now, is it mostly people take them to PAC? Will they take them next door here to us at the Humane Society too, or no?
The Humane Society charges a fee for drop-off of animals, so I don't know. A lot of times Humane Society will send everyone to PAC. Yeah.
That might be something we don't want to get into, right?
Yeah, maybe not.
It was like right after you got out of here Sunday, it got loud. It got loud here.
Here at the station, when we were doing the basketball game, there was a lot of noises in this neighborhood leading up. But over where I'm at, over by Winter Haven area, like there wasn't really a lot of noises going on right around midnight anyway.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, it didn't seem like we didn't hear a lot downtown. Of course, there was a lot of people and screaming and cheering and fireworks down there. So, but it was a good time. It was a fun time. The weather wasn't that bad.
It wasn't bad, yeah.
Yeah.
I think dogs are like humans, too. They get older. Like, our dog's 12 now, Max, and he's always been skittish about New Year's Eve and 4th of July. And he always, he gets a little trembly, even anticipating, because he might hear one and, Sky Monster's coming. I know it's coming. But this year, he literally didn't even make a peep, didn't do anything. So, I don't know. Maybe there just wasn't as much noises in our neighborhood as there normally is.
I know some people maybe put a little something in the food to calm them down. Is that what you do, or?
Oh, we don't. No.
Just sedate them a bit?
No, just tender love and care, just telling them it's going to be okay. It's just a matter of reassurance more than anything. That it's because it's fear of the unknown. It's like he doesn't know what that noise means, and if it's something bad coming, you let him know nothing bad's coming.
Falling.
It's fine. Yeah, the sky's not falling.
All right. Do your dogs I know we don't get a lot of earthquakes here, but do your dogs react at all to weather phenomenons or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, I mean they're sensitive to pretty much everything. Mostly they react to grandmas. They just bark at every single grandma that they see. That's their big trigger.
Okay. Don't let grandma in the neighborhood. The dogs might go crazy. Right. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together with reported collisions Grant Road and Alvernon, Rex and Oro Valley. At Oracle and Innovation Market Drive, also crash at Oracle and McGee, and in Sarita, Pima Mine Road east of I-19. 41 are overnight lows, 66 tomorrow, a 25% chance of rain on Thursday, and 62 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Hey, Coach Fish, congrats on the Alamo Bowl.
Beat chased and sacked. Jacob Manu, back-to-back territorial cups. A dominating afternoon in Tempe.
You heard it all right here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wildcat fans, join head coach Adia Barnes and the Arizona women's basketball team in McKale Center this season. Season tickets are on sale now. You won't want to miss the fierce competition coming to Arizona. Season tickets are available now at ArizonaWildcats.com/WBK. Arizona women's basketball. Let's pack McKale Center.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-909-4747. 800-909-4747. 800-909-4747.
Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson wants your bike. Call us or visit our website to schedule an appointment or stop by today to receive an inspection and an offer. Whether you're looking to trade in and trade up or just looking for some extra money, we're prepared to make you a tempting offer. Don't deal with the hassle of selling it to a stranger. We're here to make the process quick and easy. Only at Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at PuebloHarley.com. Again, stop into Old Pueblo Harley-Davidson or online at OldPuebloHarley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-216-9922. That's 1-800-216-9922. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-216-9922. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Hey, Scott Lehman here from Premier Auto Center. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
I'm Scott Lehman, and I'm a dealer for the people.
At Right Way, our team wouldn't last 5 minutes against the Wildcats. But when it comes to great service and your home comfort, well, that's a slam dunk. Whether it's heating and cooling, water heaters, or a block drain, give us a call today and let us win the game for you. Or visit www.rightwayac.com. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is proud to be an official sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. If it's worth doing, do it the right way.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Stoops in motion, circles around, play fake to him. Arnold fires the pass, and it's knocked up in the air, intercepted by Arizona. Cats with the ball back the other way. Out to the 30, out to the 40. Maldonado down the near sideline with a posse, one man to beat. Maldonado at the 10, at the 5. Touchdown, Arizona. Gunnar Maldonado.
DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Gunnar Maldonado with the play, and Dalton Johnson, can't leave him out. Dalton Johnson and Gunnar Maldonado with the play that turned the Alamo Bowl last Thursday in San Antonio. This is our first DK on the sports tip show since the Alamo Bowl, so we can get into that as well here today with you at 520-848-1290. That is the number to call, 520-848-1290. You can also text us at that number. In fact, if you text app to 520-848-1290 right now, I'm going to send you a link so you can download our app. And there's all kinds of cool things you can do if you've got a hold of the 1290 app. It used to be crap, but now it slaps, folks. So you can leave me and us a message. You can send us a text message on the app. You can watch this show. We've got a video stream going. We're streaming this show on YouTube right now, Facebook Live, Twitch, at Wildcats Radio 1290. We're also streaming this show video-wise live at Twitter at Wildcats 1290. If you're on our app, you can listen to the show on our link. You can watch the show on one of our video links. We've got all kinds of good stories up there for you. We've got, obviously, the full recap of the U of A's loss to Stanford up there. We've got a recap of the ladies' win over the weekend over Seattle. They won by 37 points. We've got a Suns recap from last night. They beat the Blazers. We got the Coyotes preview for you. They're coming up. They've got a game against the Panthers. All kinds of good things. We've even got some ASU stuff up on there for you if you like your Sun Devils. You know, ASU went on the road and swept the Bay Area schools, coming from behind to win both ball games. That seems to be the modus operandi for Bobby Hurley's crew this year. They don't give up. They've come down. There's probably at least, I think they're 8-5. I would say at least 5 of those 8 wins, they've been anywhere from 7 to double digits behind in the second half and come back and won. So that is a team that has learned how to fight down the stretch. So don't think that they're going to be a pushover.
Yeah, but if you're a fan of that team, you got to watch a team that scores 67 points and shoots 41% from the field on average for this season through 13 games.
But they can knock down threes when they have to.
Yeah, they sure can. I mean, I think if I had to describe one word for Coach Hurley, it'd be fight. I mean, I watched not every game. I watched a lot of his tournament runs when he was a college player at Duke, and he's always had that. He's always brought that. It's just based on personnel, and I feel like it's a lot like the situation up with Dana Altman in Oregon, where more often than not, Bobby Hurley brings in 4 or 5 new guys every single year through transfer, and it just takes some time. And so it's not that there isn't talent on the team. It's just that an 8-5 record, you're looking at inconsistencies, and again, the numbers I just put out there, 41% shooting as a team, that's your average, but at the end of the day, all it takes is one or two meaningful shots at the end there, and coming back from games, you just got to get a few stops down the stretch and make some key buckets. So clearly they did that in the Bay Area.
Yeah, they did that. And again, that's the biggest thing right now. One of the things, anyway, that you're afraid about in terms of this Arizona basketball team is how they're defending the 3-point shot. And we'll get into that a lot as well as we lead up to the next game against Colorado on Thursday. But again, Arizona football wraps up their season with an Alamo Bowl win. There's been a little bit of roster movement since the final gun sounded. A couple of guys have opted for the NFL, including this guy, Taylor Upshaw, who had one heck of a season on the defensive side of the ball for the Arizona Wildcats.
William Galule with the snap, and he's sacked. Taylor. Oh, my goodness. There's Upshaw back on the field and paying dividends with the sack. They'll go in a hurry, and Daniels to throw. Here comes the rush, and he is decked. Taylor Upshaw with the sack back at the 30-yard line.
That's a big-time play by Upshaw. He just came free. I mean, he broke through the tackle, came free, and just blasted Daniels in the backfield.
Quick snap, Barnes back to throw. Has some time, surveying the field, nowhere to go. From behind, caught and pulled down at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, that was Taylor Upshaw coming off the edge that time, and he just worked his way, continued to fight all the way to the quarterback that time. He was blocked, but he just kept fighting.
Couple of one-year guys that came in here from UCLA, well, one from UCLA and Taylor Upshaw from Michigan by way of Colorado, or Colorado by way of Michigan, considering he was at Colorado last before he came to Arizona for a brief moment in Boulder. But Taylor Upshaw, who finished the season with 8.5 sacks, announced that he is going to declare for the NFL draft. Tyler Manoa, another rotational player on that interior line defensively, also announced that he is going to declare for the NFL draft. And then Jacob Kangaika, who was a rotational defensive tackle, announced that he will enter the transfer portal. Taylor Upshaw, though, I want to talk a little bit about him, was he came as close to getting double-digit sacks as anybody has in Arizona in a number of years. You have to go all the way back to 2000, I believe it was 14. Kailyn Wilborn had 7.5. Upshaw got to 8.5. It has been the one thing that this program has not been able to get since the departure of what I termed when I first got here, because these two guys were on my original teams back when I arrived here in 2008, 2009. The Sack brothers, Brooks Reed out of Sabino High School, Ricky Elmore. I mean, the last pair of guys that really, really rushed the quarterback and were able to get to the quarterback with consistency. Elmore putting together back-to-back double-digit sack seasons in 2010 and 2011, and there has not been a player that has been able to do that since Ricky Elmore's 11 in 2010, and it is the hardest thing in college football to find, and that is that edge rusher.
I feel like you need a couple of three guys, right? I mean, back in the early 90s when I was in high school, and obviously Brewski and the Desert Swarm guys are doing it, it was Rob Waltrip, really, which was causing a lot of that and making it so that the edge guys could get to the quarterback. In these last 10 years, DK, here's my question. How easy is it to get a sack when you're always behind by 20, right? I mean, Arizona's lost so many games in these last 10 years. It seems like those numbers, to me, mirror their record and their ability to stay in games, because if teams get out to a 15, 20-point lead, oftentimes they're running the ball a lot more than they're throwing the ball around, right? But having one guy doesn't necessarily lead to 10. You got to have multiple options there and multiple threats in order to get those numbers up there. So looking at what I saw from this year's Arizona defense, if I'm a defensive lineman whose specialty is getting after the quarterback, DK, I'm signing up. I mean, this is a defense that I want to play for, because if you look what they're doing in the secondary, obviously everybody's been on the same page, especially these last 6-7 weeks. They're just primed for some kind of, maniac, 6'3", 240-pound dude to just, pin his ears back and get after the quarterback, because that's really kind of all. They've been missing that for a long time. But in this defense, because it's such a quality overall defense, they're primed to have somebody come in and you'll see that number, I think, somewhere in the near future.
And I think the decline is also, I think it's been twofold to what you said as well. It's been the evolution of this quick passing game now that we see in college football as well, where you just don't have a lot of time. Guys aren't dropping back. There's not a lot of drop back out of the center position. It's a lot of shotgun, get rid of the ball quickly and let your receivers and running backs run in space. And so it's harder to get sacks nowadays than it used to be in college football. But again, there are guys out there. I mean, there are guys out there, and then we've seen it with other teams that are getting double digits annually. So it's something that can still be done. You just got to find the guys that can do it. And Taylor Upshaw was as close as they came. I believe he had 8.5 going into the final 2 games. He did not get a sack at ASU, did not get a sack in that ball game on Saturday night as well. It was interesting because we were talking to Kelvin, and neither one of us remembered really seeing him that much in that game. I'll have to look up and see what his snap count was in that game. But yeah, it looked like he was going to get there, but came up just a little bit short of getting to that 10.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like the Washingtons, USCs of the world. That's that quick 3-step drop. But what we saw in that bowl game was just RPO. And when you see that style of offense, where do the sack come from, right? If there's pressure on the quarterback, the running back gets the ball, right? I mean, that's basically that's what RPO is to take that pressure off of the quarterback with that delayed handoff. So they're trying to get pressure almost in those setups the way that Oklahoma was running it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that there wasn't a lot of sack opportunities in that game for sure.
Yeah, he had 33 snaps on defense, so didn't play a whole lot, did Taylor Upshaw in the game against Oklahoma. And then the defensive tackle, Jacob Kongaika, who opted to the transfer portal, he only played 21 snaps. And again, Jacob Kongaika, solid defensive lineman, but was probably going to get lost in the shuffle next year. You've got, your big guy up front, Bill Norton, was coming back, and so he was not going to probably usurp Norton in that respect. Kangaika really wasn't necessarily, he was in the rotation of defensive linemen. He wasn't on the depth chart, though, much the entire season, which means he was probably the third guy or in terms of, if you're talking about two defensive linemen, he was probably the fifth or sixth guy down there. And with everything they've got coming back, even with the departure of a Tyler Manoa, it was still probably going to be hard for him to get into the top of that rotation. And I wouldn't necessarily say, Jacob Kangaika was a guy that you don't look at him like you look at some of those other kids in that 92 class, or not in the 92 class, but the 22 class, who came in and you said, okay, yeah, this kid is going to be a starter for this team someday. He was probably going to be just one of those guys in the rotation, probably at the lower end of the rotation in that 20 to 30 snap a game kind of category. So maybe he felt like it was better for him to take a look elsewhere and see if he can get into a situation where maybe he can get 40 to 50 snaps into that type of rotation that we saw with the top defensive lineman for U of A.
Grass is not always greener.
No, it's not. It's not. But those kids, they want to find out. Also, Charles Yates, who we saw in the game, playing a lot of that cornerback position when Takario Davis got hurt, he also has opted into the portal as well. So there have been some losses on the defensive side of the ball for Arizona that they will need to get some of that depth reshored up.
And obviously that's like a tongue-in-cheek thing with the grass greener, because we know what happened at USC this year. Not quite as many catches over there as there were last year in Tucson. To me, I have not changed DK for 35 plus years. If a student athlete decides they want to transfer from the University of Arizona, personal reasons, playing time reasons, or any other reason, academic or doesn't matter what it is, I'm always here to wish them best of luck in their endeavors wherever they're going forward. If it's in a bad blood situation and they're bad-mouthing university on the way out, again, I'm not in those meetings. Everybody has their own reasoning for doing that. If it's for just for playing time, it's not always the case that your destination will lead to a more meaningful time in front of scouts' eyeballs as you would have had here. That's all I'm saying. So, I hope everybody who's going to make that choice or looking into making that choice definitely does all the due diligence and make sure they research to understand what it is they're not coming back to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just because you go into the portal does not mean you can't come back out and remain an Arizona Wildcat. We'll see if any of those gentlemen that went in decide to make that decision. All right, still a lot to come. We'll hear from Tommy Lloyd after the loss at Stanford, as well as the Arizona Wildcats players. U of A now down to number 10 in the AP poll. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here is Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Stalled vehicle at Irvington and Campbell, and collisions clearing Pima Mine Road east of I-19, Midtown, Grant Road in Alvernon, and a collision in Oro Valley at Oracle and McGee and Oracle. And weather-wise, 41 our overnight low, 66 tomorrow, and 62 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I could enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
License to 40693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Paid actor portrayal.
Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. In 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected.
Ethos fast and easy online term life insurance up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and make 2024 the year you are back living normal life again. Hey, it's David Kelly. QC Kinetics can give you your life back. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. These are all natural treatments that can repair and restore that damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement once again. If you've got pain from an old injury or pain associated with arthritis, you need to check this out. The future of medicine is here. Regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. Make the call now so you can get the most out of this next year. Get back to doing what you love. And don't forget, you can use your HSA and your FSA. All those funds can go to QC Kinetics. Call them for a free consultation. 2 locations here in Tucson, off of Academy, off of Orange Grove. 520-497-4955, 520-497-4955, QC Kinetics. So I picked the game, Atlanta and Chicago. Can you pick the winner? Who's it going to be?
I'm going to take the Bears due to the cold weather, and I believe Dijon will get his 1,000-yard, yards for Tucson product. But I'm going to take the Bears because of the cold weather.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
That was our Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge from last week. Jack picking the Chicago Bears to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Jack rejoins us now here on Wildcats Radio 1290. And Jack, congratulations. You had that one correct and in a major way, as the Falcons lost by 20 points at Soldier Field yesterday to the Bears. The Bears, all of a sudden, they were looking at the first pick, and now they're looking to keep Justin Field and be happy with him. That's interesting. Huh?
It looks that way, don't it? It looks that way. Yeah. So congrats. Thank you very much. And I guess I predicted right, and I just had a feeling the Bears were going to take it.
So, Jack, you get a $25 gift card from Miller Lite. What are you going to spend that $25 on? You having a Super Bowl party this year?
No, probably go to a party's house, a friend's house. Yes.
All right. Well, you'll probably have to take something, so maybe you can use that $25 to load up on some nachos or something of that nature. What's your favorite thing to take to the Super Bowl party? What's your favorite dish? Do you make a dish annually?
Yeah, my wife makes pretty good pico de gallo and salsa and guacamole salsa.
Pico de gallo and guacamole salsa.
Yep, really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Jack, you said, if I'm not mistaken, what's your team?
The Minnesota Vikings.
Yes, the Minnesota Vikings, who played tonight, correct? On Monday Night Football? Or no, wait, I'm sorry. I'm all lost. Monday Night Football was, they played Sunday night. They played Sunday night this week because there was no Monday Night Football. But not a good night for the Vikings. 33-10 losers. So they're out of the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So they're gonna keep Kirk Cousins or move on from him.
I'm probably gonna keep him, but I don't know if you heard that Joe Flacco was talking with the Vikings also to possibly make negotiations there.
I don't know if we're letting Joe Flacco out of Cleveland.
I don't think they will either. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how that plays out, though, in the offseason. Hey, Jack, congratulations. You can pick up your $25 gift card here at the stadium between the hours of 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. So do that and have fun with it.
Where at?
You know where we're located? We're at 575 West Roger Road.
Oh, yeah, Roger and Oracle. Yes, sir.
Roger and Oracle.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, well, appreciate you, Jack. Thank you so much. All right. Jack is the winner of this week's Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. We will have that one more time. I don't know. I guess I'll have to check with our guy, Mike Harrelson. I guess we could maybe do it during the postseason if we wanted to extend it through all the way to the Super Bowl. Why
maybe
not?
So.
Why not? I'll ask Mike if that's on the horizon.
Bijan had
to do it.
15 carries for 75 in that game. That was the other part of Jack's prediction. He wanted to see Bijan get to 1,000.
Right.
He needs another 52 yards in his remaining game to pass the 1,000-yard mark on the season. 9:48.
Falcons are 7-9. They are not going to the playoffs either. But like you mentioned, Bijan will have that one more opportunity coming up this week, the final week of the season, Week 18 against the Saints on the road.
There are
Sunday.
only 6 running backs, David Kelly, right now.
That have over 1,000?
6 running backs in the NFL have over 1,000 yards right now.
Wow.
Crazy. One game left in the season.
It is.
Different era.
It's a different era for sure.
Bijan is 9th in the NFL in rushing, 948 yards.
I wonder how many receivers have over 1,000 yards?
I could look it up. Hold on a second.
This season. That would be an interesting number to look at as well.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. Looks
pretty
like
much everybody.
24.
24.
Yeah, Travis Kelce is just on the outside looking in at 984 yards. He's 25th currently in receiving. Tyreek Hill is leading, obviously, with Miami with 1,700.
Wow. Interesting stuff there. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. I'll give you our question of the day in the next hour. If you saw my Twitter page yesterday, you probably already know what it is, but it has to do with hockey. So we'll talk some hockey in the 4 o'clock hour today. I do, though, want you to hear from your head men's basketball coach, Tommy Lloyd, who spoke to the media after the ball game on Sunday in Palo Alto about his team's 100-82 loss to the Stanford Cardinal. Here's Tommy Lloyd.
Stanford played great. I mean, they played great, much better team today, and I know they worked really hard, and they've had some ups and downs, but they were obviously the better team today.
So yeah, it took a school record number of 3-pointers to beat you guys.
I mean, listen, it did. They kicked our by 20 points. They could have made 6 less threes and still won by 2. So it did. I mean, they beat us every way, shape, and form. I don't know what it was, but it was everything.
Do you think this kind of game is a good learning lesson just for your team?
I mean, it has to be. These seasons are hard. They're long. What we do, what we go through, there's a lot of up and downs, a lot of emotions in it, and we got to be professional, and we got to bounce back. I mean, what happens today ultimately probably isn't going to determine what happens at the end of the season. So, there's a lot of games to go, and we got to bounce back. It's part of the process.
So are you say overall? I mean, you're more disappointed with the defense, or just?
Oh, I'm disappointed with everything. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed in our coaching staff. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm disappointed in our players. I'm disappointed in our schemes. I mean, there's not one thing I'm happy about. I'm happy Morauskas got to play a little bit, hit a couple threes, and he's been waiting his turn, and he's a good player, so I'm happy for him.
How did it come? I mean, it was different than last year in the sense last year they really limited you guys inside.
I think they limited us everywhere. It felt the same to me. I didn't feel any difference.
And when Paulius, you put him in, was that because of the matchups too?
No, I mean, I've said I'm committed to give some of these guys chances, and he actually played well. I mean, he and Philip the last 2 games got opportunities and played well. And so you know what? Some of the other guys need to take notice. Yeah. Nothing's guaranteed in this deal. Don't assume anything, and we need to have that mindset.
All right, that was a very annoyed sounding Tommy Lloyd there. After his team's game on Sunday in Palo Alto.
Yeah.
As he said, they kicked our arse.
I mentioned on post the other night that Coach Olson used to have a quick hook was his format where they would go over the scout. You were never supposed to – the idea was not to figure things out during the game. The idea was to know what you were supposed to be doing long before the tip. And so that was all done during the week. But once you were actually in-game experience, if a person who maybe was the 6th or 7th guy got put in the game to relieve one of the starters and missed a defensive assignment, didn't rotate, maybe they didn't box out, they would be pulled at the next dead ball and sat right down next to Coach Olson, and he would say, here's what happened on that last play. What you need to do is come off your man a split second earlier, turn your hips, and get over there to that shooter. It would be a learning experience almost every single time. And that was not necessarily for the Damon Stoudemire's of the world. Playing through those, you earn your cachet and get the trust of the coaching staff over a long period of time. You can make some mistakes if you're a rotational or one of the leaders on the team. But for those guys who are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I don't know that Coach Lloyd has done that during his time here on campus. He's obviously only been a head coach now for 2.5 seasons. This is his first ever stint as a head coach. He's still figuring those things out. As he should. He's still a young coach. That is a tough thing to figure out because you're talking about the carrot and the stick, right? And if it's the stick and everybody's afraid of making a mistake and you're constantly looking over your shoulder because as soon as you do something, quote, that's bad, you may not get an opportunity at Adama Ball. Last season, guys, go back and watch the tape. The first 10 games, Adama Ball got heavy minutes early in games in the rotation. After a while, he worked himself out of the rotation because enough of those mental errors or just wasn't prepared to be in the game and stay at that same level of intensity that the starters did. So you're talking about the Morauskas and the Borovichins of the world, DK. There is that level of, hey, if you starters aren't giving maximum effort. One quote he had we didn't quite hear there was, we'll have to go evaluate who are going to be bringing it at the start of games. And generally when a coach says something like that, I'm not talking about shaking up the entire lineup or starting lineup or anything, but it's a message to those players who are relied upon to bring that level of effort and energy from the opening tip. If you're not there, if you're not mentally prepared to be doing that, somebody else will. And that's the idea behind that Coach Olson hook and or Coach Lloyd when he's telling people through the media, as Coach Miller did quite often, if you're not prepared to come out there mentally and get into the game. I'm looking at the stats. This is something everybody should take heed of. Arizona right now on net rankings, we talked earlier, Arizona is 4th in the net rankings. The rest of the Pac-12 are Utah at 16. Okay, so that's the other top 20. Colorado's at 30. And then it's all the way down to 55, Washington State. 57 is Washington. 71 is Oregon. 91 is Southern California. Those are the only teams in this conference who are net ranking top 100. So there's only 2 quad 1 teams right now in the entire conference out of 12 teams, meaning that every single team on the schedule is going to look at that Arizona jersey. That's our only opportunity to make any kind of headway and increase our net ranking and impress the selection committee, which is the whole goal. You're looking at UCLA and Southern Cal. UCLA is 5-7 right now, everybody. Like, that's not a team that's put together to be 5-7. So it might have been Stanford on Sunday, DK, but it's going to be every single team that sees Arizona this year that's going to bring that level of intensity. And those starters and the 6th, 7th, 8th guys, they got to match that, and they got to be in the game because otherwise you're going to have defensive lapses and teams are going to shoot 15. If you leave them open, they get confidence. it snowballs, and that's what we saw on Sunday.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Disagree or agree with anything that J-Dub had to say there. We will take your calls on that as well. Again, you can also text our program. Send us a text to that number, 520-848-1290. We'll love to interact with you on the text groove as well. Coming up in the next hour, we will dive into more. We'll let you hear from the players after that loss on Sunday. Arizona men's basketball falling at Stanford. We'll also check in with the Arizona women who got a win over the weekend pretty handily, and they have got their Pac-12 season continuing. It's going to be a busy weekend of basketball games at McHale Center coming up. We've got 4 straight nights of basketball. I don't know that we do this again all season long. Hopefully, maybe we do, because it's a lot of fun when both teams are home at the same time. But we will definitely do it this weekend when the Colorado and the Utah, the Rocky Mountain schools also come in to face the women on Friday and Sunday.
They usually do the opposite, right? Where women travel when the men are at home, usually.
Yeah, normally,
on an average weekend.
We sometimes get these weekends when both are at home, just kind of depending on the schedule. But, yeah, most often than not, it's a flip, and they're not both home or both away at the same time. But we'll have to see if we have another instance of that coming up this season later on. Also, we'll talk some Suns coming up. The Suns have seemed to right themselves. Have they righted themselves? Are they rolling again? Or are they just playing the dregs of the Western Conference right now, who they should beat? We can discuss that. Bradley Beal back in the lineup the last few games. J-Dub has some thoughts on the Indiana Pacers, who he kind of keeps an eye on with a couple of Wildcats on that roster. The Pacers and the Bucks played last night for the first time since Giannis's "Give me my ball"
Ballgate.
Ballgate.
Exactly.
Sure. That was a few weeks ago, so they were back on the floor against each other. I had a chance to go out to Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook for the first time. I'll tell you a little bit about that as well. We'll talk about New Year's Eve. A lot of interesting stuff as well happening downtown over the weekend. It's DK on the Sports Tip, along with JW Madden and Cricket. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Some slowdowns due to road work on eastbound Grant Road approaching Columbus. Also crashes reported and clearing. Grant Road and Alvernon, also Pima Mine Road and I-19. 41 are overnight low and 66 tomorrow, 62 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. As the world keeps changing, so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're designed to help protect against recent variants. Learn more about a COVID-19 vaccine option at schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
License to 40693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Well, it's the first part of a new year, and some people are coming up with some pretty interesting New Year's resolutions.
I'm taking karate classes.
Hey, wait just a minute.
Let's get something really stupid tattooed on our butt.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Why not make your New Year's resolution to always save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products at Tobacco Barn? You'll not only save up to 40%, but there's also no city or state sales tax at Tobacco Barn because they're on the reservation.
I'm getting married to the first girl I meet. Hey there, sweetheart.
And you can save up to another $3 with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Let's try parachuting. Geronimo!
So save up to 40%, save with no city or state sales tax, and save up to another $3 with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com. But maybe skip the skydiving. Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
I mean, I dig Jey Uso because he's born out of great storytelling and he lived up to the opportunity and exceeded it. The LA Knight, he's way up on my list because here's a guy that's been around for almost ever, should have probably quit a half a dozen times, and he just forced his way into their life. And now he's making money hand over fist. That is a story I love.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man.
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Hey listener, welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it!
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
In the end zone, touchdown, Jalen McMillan. 19 yards, and the Huskies lead for the 4th time tonight. Texas trailing all night long. One last chance to advance to the national championship game. Ewers lobs it up, and it is incomplete. Intended for Mitchell. Elijah Jackson had the coverage.
Washington is going to play for the national championship of college football. They will do so against the Michigan Wolverines in what will be a traditional Rose Bowl national championship game. I might actually watch it. I've those of you that know me or have been following me for the last, I don't know, how long have we been in this college football playoff format? 6 or 7 years. Know that I do not follow the college football playoff because I don't like the format. I've never been down with it, the way that they select the teams. I mean, everybody got upset about Florida State this year. I've been upset about it for 6 years. So I generally don't watch it. I don't really talk about. I'll mention it just because it's major sports, but I don't really get into it. I did watch some of the Alabama-Michigan game yesterday because I was at the sports book. I went over to the Desert Diamond Casino. My wife has a friend in town, and she wanted to go do some gambling. So we went over to the Desert Diamond Casino, and I hung out in the sports book. First time I've had a chance to go to that sports book at the Desert Diamond Casino. And so I watched a little bit of that Alabama-Michigan game just because it was the primary thing on there that day. But kudos to Washington, Michael Penix Jr., Kailyn Gilbert, who's come in and done one heck of a job with that program. They will play for the national championship. Our guy, Troy Clardy, who we had on the voice of the Stanford Cardinal, we had him on the pregame show Sunday prior to the Cardinal kicking Arizona's butt. And he tweeted out today or yesterday, it might have been last night, that no offense to Houston, but they should play this game at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena because it is Michigan and Washington. And it might be, it's the final time that we're going to have the Big Ten versus the Pac-12 in a major bowl situation, championship situation, whatever you want to call it. If they could do it, they'd be wise to move this game to the Pasadena next week. That would be unbelievable to have that game in Pasadena.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's unfortunate for most of us that aren't from the South that the SEC has taken over, all of the national dialogue when it comes to college football. But to me, those two conferences, DK, have always been the premier conferences in college football. And I love the fact that they're the only two remaining undefeated teams, right? I mean, the college football playoff has rarely gotten it right. 4 was never enough teams to get in. We get it. It's a 13-game season. If you do more, then all of a sudden student athletes are away from their classrooms, all those talking points that we've been talking for 30 years now. And you got to have at least 8. 12 is what's going to be next year, correct? I just think having more than 4 teams involved is a better way. Because, I mean, we all know Florida State lost their quarterback, right? And they lost by 60 points in their bowl game. That's still a deserving team that had the talent to get into based on the bulk of their season to date. But I just love the fact that the 2 undefeated teams are remaining and that they're going to play for the national championship. It's just nice and neat.
You had Florida State lose by 60. You had Ohio State score 3 points, and now their quarterback's going to Syracuse. The Ohio State quarterback is transferring from Ohio State and going to Syracuse.
NIL.
That's interesting. You had 2 games yesterday of the 4 bowl games. There were 2 playoff games and 2 bowl games. You had 2 games yesterday at which the point spread was 27 plus points. 27 plus points on New Year's Day. Come on. That is not good for college football.
No.
It is not good for college football. Oregon State was a 39 and a half point favorite. They won by 39 over Liberty. No offense to Liberty. My cousin played there. Good religious school.
Yeah, and they
played some good football over the years.
They were the other undefeated team remaining, right? South Dakota State, North Dakota State, Washington, Michigan, Florida State, and Liberty. Those are the 5 undefeated teams. So you got to give Liberty the nod and let them play in a bigger bowl. But obviously, Oregon was going to do that to them.
And Iowa was a 27-point underdog to Tennessee and lost, 35-0, I think it was, or I don't even know. They lost by a lot.
Alamo Bowl was great in that I think that, you had 2 completely different programs, one that expects to be playing on New Year's Day regularly and the other who is playing in their first bowl game in 6 years and is trying to, build upon what they've had a very successful season. The fact that game, went Arizona's way early and then the Sooners' way in the middle and then Arizona's way at the end, it had every factor for a great college football game. You had ebbs and flows, both teams fighting hard, and then Arizona obviously taking it over. So I mean, I think that there still is I think it's possible to have very good football games be played during these bowl games. However, with the college football playoff taking away all of those bowl connections that were traditional, that started, 12, 13, 14 years ago. Ever since then, these weird scrambles you find, Liberty, Oregon is a good example of that. It seems more often than not that you're going to find some kind of weird point spread of 15 points because, a team from a smaller conference finds their way there because how many Liberty fans are saying we should be in the college football playoff, right? Because that's just how that works when you're undefeated at this time of year. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like moving forward, and hopefully the way that it's bracketed, and you can have some very competitive games in the preliminary rounds going into that national championship game next year with more teams involved.
And did you see College Game Days mock 12-team bracket?
I did not.
Well, let me tell you about it.
Tell me all about it.
If you did not see it. 12 teams, right? So there were 8 teams that will play in the first round, and there were 4 teams that got byes.
Mm-hmm.
So your top 4 seeds. I'll give you the first round teams. 12 seed Liberty at 5 seed Washington.
Mm-hmm.
9 seed Oregon at 8 seed Ohio State, which would now be a conference game. 11 seed Penn State at 6 seed Texas. 10 seed Missouri at 7 seed Georgia. So that was the first round. So here are your 4 teams that got byes, your top 4 seeds. 1 Michigan, 2 Alabama, 3 Florida State, and the 4th team, they obviously projecting to be the champion of the Big 12, Arizona.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, Kelvin and Glenn talked about it a lot during the last, 3-4 weeks of football this year, but Arizona and the other schools from the Pac, honestly, Utah and Arizona are the 2 that come to mind, are going into a conference that has their best teams leaving, right? So it's not that I don't want to be disrespectful to the future, conference mates that Arizona is going to be joining. And Oklahoma and Texas were those 2 teams who really feared on the football side of things there. So, yeah, I think it's going to be wide open. And if Arizona does somehow find a way to win that league, you have to consider that. I mean, are they going to flat out just do the Power 6 winners are going to make it? Because I know that they had thought about that for a long time. They would just give a college football playoff berth to the teams that won their conferences and then have at-larges beyond that. I'm not sure exactly.
So according to this, you've got 5 conference champions and 7 at-larges.
Right.
So Alabama, Florida State, Michigan, Arizona, and Liberty are listed as conference champions. And then everybody else, Washington, obviously, if Michigan wins the Big Ten, then Washington, Ohio State, Penn State are all at-larges from the Big Ten. Georgia, Missouri, and Texas are all at-larges from the SEC. So you would have 4 conference champions, of which only 4 of these 5 are Power 5s. So who am I missing? We got Pac-12. I'm sorry, we got Big 12.
Well, Pac-12 won't exist.
Yeah, they won't exist.
Right? So it's only 5.
So it's only going to be quote 4 Power 5s. Now to be Power 4, I would guess. Yeah. And then your main at-large, group of 5 conference champion would be Liberty, according to this. And the interesting thing about this bracket is the 9-8 game is Oregon-Ohio State. So if Ohio State would beat Oregon, they would play Michigan in the quarterfinals. So you could get rivalry rematches.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, it's going to be crazy next year.
That would be interesting. Because that was something they completely avoided. In the bowl system, they never wanted to. You never would see Ohio State play Michigan again in a bowl game.
Right. Well, look at the standings right now. Michigan, Washington, Ohio State, and Oregon. Those are all top 8 teams. All teams in the top 8. Right. And so if you're only going to take what? I mean, there has to be a limit. You can't take 3 or 4 from one conference.
Right.
Out of 12. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it winds up. I'm just glad that they're going to have more wiggle room to get more teams in there, because the greatest sporting event to me every year is the NCAA tournament. And why is it so great?
Yeah.
It's because 68 teams have an opportunity. Now, the 68th team, the last team that makes it in the tournament's not going to cut down the nets at the end of the tournament, but they can, right? They can go 15 out of 26 from 3, DK. That's how college basketball works, and with a one-and-done situation. So with more teams in the college football playoffs, you're going to see those, Liberty over Alabama type of upsets, which is what I think everybody wants to see outside of Crimson Tide fans, is some kind of, you don't see that. It's the haves versus the haves. Every single year, there's not a lot of change up there at the top, right? I mean, we keep hearing the same names over and over again. So I'm looking forward to seeing some other schools get a chance to get in there and do some damage.
We'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. It's going to be very interesting as it kind of begins to piece itself together. We get much closer to July and the turning of the clock onto the 24-25 academic athletic year, and what's going to be the essence of this new format. If you want to get in on that today, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. I mentioned that I went to the book yesterday, which was very interesting because I found out that not everything is connected and seamless as you would like it to be.
How so?
I have my Desert Diamond Casino app, okay, that I've had since the summer, since I signed up for it. I was watching the Suns playoff games, visiting a friend, and it was in Scottsdale, and we went out to watch the Suns, and the Desert Diamond Casino people were out at this bar we were at in Scottsdale, and so I signed up for the app way back in May. But first of all, you can't use the app at the casino because you're on tribal grounds at the casino, and they don't allow that. They don't allow you to use the app if you're on tribal grounds.
Interesting.
Didn't understand that part of it. It's like, well, it's so apparently, like, the people that are involved with the app, it's under Desert Diamond Casino, but it's maybe not really them. It's like a third party situation.
Sure.
So not only could I not use my app because I was on tribal grounds actually at the casino, but then I couldn't actually access my account either.
Huh.
I had so I couldn't use, because I said, oh, well, at least I can use my account at one of the, because they have the kiosks there. You can bet with the key, which is basically like your app. It's just there right in front of you.
It makes sense first blush. If I'm just like thinking of it logically, if it's a third party situation, then there's a percentage that third party gets with every time that you lay, money on a line. And so therefore, if you're at the casino, they're going to want you to go into one of those kiosks. It would be my assumption as to why that would be.
Right. So I had to actually pull money out of my pocket and put it into the machine in order to
like it's the 80s or something.
Exactly right. In order to make the 3 bets that I wanted to make. And thank you to the Cavs for screwing up my parlay and not winning me any money. Playing a Toronto team that is not even is trying to find itself after all the trades.
You forgot rule number 1. Never bet with your heart. Don't bet on the Cavs.
But that was a smart bet. I mean, it was the Cavs. I think they were on the road, but at least, I mean, they're playing a team that is, you got all these new guys. It's like, you can't beat that team on the road. They don't even know who they are yet. I thought that was a good bet. I took the Suns. They covered massively. And they even have Kevin Durant. I took Washington. And I couldn't believe the Huskies were the 3-point underdog.
Yeah, I read about that all week because their team was a little upset that that was the second time in a row that they were underdogs. They were underdogs to Oregon as well in the championship game of the pack.
Yep. So the Cavs are what stood between me and making about $140. But I did win some money at poker, machine poker, so that was a good thing.
Well, there you go.
There you go. It wasn't all bad yesterday at the Desert Diamond Casino. All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Let's hear from Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. Crash reported Valencia and Cole Road and Valencia. Also, Stalled vehicle, Irvington and I-19. Weather-wise, 41 the low, 66 tomorrow, and 62 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 15% on select Sanctuary by green fiber blown-in insulation when you buy 30 or more. Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Now, is that league where they got the keg at second base and you got to chug a beer before you get to third? Is that how that works?
J-Dub, that would have been a better league for me.
Oh, okay.
Don't miss out on all the fun.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I do have a favorite child.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I use memes as a coping mechanism.
It's Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance. Get up to 60% off select Sealy, plus a free adjustable base, all with free and fast delivery. Deals this big won't last long, so don't miss out. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope, and they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Get a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
Want to support a nonprofit that helps youth and adults in the most challenging moments of their lives and save hundreds of dollars on your Arizona taxes? Donate to Intermountain today and receive a dollar-for-dollar tax credit and support their work for their more than 20,000 at-risk individuals each year. To make your gift and for more information, visit intermountaincenters.org. Intermountain, serving Arizona's health need for 50 years.
Tucson has a brand new platform for some of the leading conservative voices and opinion makers in America. It's the all-new Freedom 1400 KTUC. Freedom 1400 is the new home for conservative talk in Tucson. Voices you know and trust from Fox News Television, Newsmax Television, or your favorite conservative podcasts. Brian Kilmeade, Dan Bongino, Ben Shapiro, Chris Plant, Guy Benson, Jimmy Fallon, and more will inform and entertain while addressing the most important issues facing our country. When you want fresh, entertaining conservative talk, go to 1400 AM or stream it at freedom1400.com and listen to the new Freedom 1400. Tucson, we have something free just for Wildcats fans living in Tucson. You can now catch all the play-by-play action of Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, and no charge on your smart speaker. Ask it to play at Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Beal on the drive, sneaks that one up. Beal with a tough baseline jumper over Murray. The 6'8". Off the inbound, Beal. Up ahead to Beal. Clean look, connects from deep. Timeout, Portland.
Bradley Beal last night, 21 points, 8 of 16 from the floor to go along with 4 rebounds, an assist, and a steal as the Suns buried the Portland Trailblazers 109-88. DeAndre did not play in that game last night. I'm not sure why he did not play, if he's out or injured or something of that nature. And good night for for at least two of the big three, as Kevin Durant also did not play for the Suns, but Devin Booker played. He only scored 10 points, not have a good shooting night, 4 of 16, but Bradley Beal leading the way, and the Suns have now won 4 games in a row, playing some decent basketball there. Are they Suns, or are they just beating up on the Dregs because they beat Portland, and Portland's not very good? They beat the Rockets, and the Rockets are not very good. But are they finding themselves, J-Dub, do you think?
Orlando's pretty good.
Yeah, Orlando's decent.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think DA's got a bit of a knee issue, I think. He's kind of day-to-day, nothing super serious from what I understand. I think, Bradley Beal is much better than I think a lot of people understand. So it's just a matter of if he's healthy and on the court, and with Booker and KD, it's really tough. I think a lot of the new guys that we've talked a lot about have been trying to figure things out. You also got a new coach, completely different philosophy, Monty Williams style of defense, Frank Vogel style of defense. It's going to take some time, veterans or not, for them to figure it out. Unfortunately, we talk about the Arizona Wildcats and their issues against Stanford, DK. That's with the completely healthy roster. And they haven't had any injuries all year long, knock on wood. They haven't had any kind of significant time missed. The Phoenix Suns haven't been healthy all year long.
No.
Right? They haven't had a stretch of 4 games together where their entire rosters. So, it's impossible to evaluate. This is the kind of team that's built to win now. And what are we, 33 games in the season, something to that effect? After the All-Star break, when you got about a quarter season to go, that's the real point in the NBA with a team like this. You got to get everybody on the same page, make sure everybody's playing good ball. It doesn't matter if it's the Portland Trailblazers or Houston Rockets or Charlotte, Bobcats or whoever's in front of you. You just got to win games at this point because they got in a bit of a hole. And unfortunately, at 18 and 15 on the season, you just got to win games. You just got to get back into the standings and get back up there, amongst the 5-6 seed in the West, and they're going to be just fine.
Suns, though, they came through for me on my ticket that I placed at the Desert Diamond Casino. The Cavaliers did not, losing to the Raptors 124-121. The Raptors did not trade Pascal Siakam. He scored 36 points.
He's like the only untouchable guy on that roster.
Yeah. I almost played
Scotty Barnes.
I almost played Indiana and Milwaukee. That was the other game I was looking at. And I was going to take the Bucks in that one. I said, I'll take the Bucks at home against the Pacers. Good thing I didn't take that game, although Giannis Antetokounmpo did have a triple-double with 30 points, 18 rebounds, and 11 assists for the Bucks. But the Pacers, young guard Tyrese Halliburton continues to play well. He just came up 1 rebound shy of a triple-double in that ball game.
Yeah, I watched. That's the game I watched. We had it on. Tyrese had himself a bit of an ending to the year. In his final 2 games before yesterday, he had 20 assists and 23 assists and 2 total turnovers. So wow. 43 assists and 2 turnovers on the 28th and the 30. He's playing really good. TJ, we talked about it at the start of the year, might be out of the rotation. Remember? There was a bit of an emotional moment there where they were talking about maybe TJ might have to, sit and watch from the sidelines. Well, Andrew Nembhard has had some injury issues lately, and TJ's getting a lot of run. He had 16 points and 9 assists last night in that win over the Bucks. Benedict Mathurin had 24 and a career high 13 rebounds, tied his career high. Both of them playing, both the former Arizona Wildcats playing really well. I do have one highlight I want to play for you. Ready? All right, here it comes.
Dallas slips and slides inside for 3. He's got it! The futility!
There it is.
Ends tonight on New Year's Day, 2024.
There it is.
The futility ends tonight, New Year's Day 2024. And you heard the crowd noise there and the enthusiasm on the play-by-play announcers. That was the Utah Jazz announcers. They didn't win the NBA championship, David Kelly.
No.
They didn't win their division. They didn't win anything. Do you want to have a guess as to what the futility was that ended last night?
Let's see. I don't know. That's, Jordan Clarkson had a triple-double.
So Jordan Clarkson got his 10th rebound, and that was a triple-double. And what if I told you it was the first triple-double by a Jazz player
ever?
Since 2008.
Oh, wow.
So it had been 15 years. February 2008, Carlos Boozer, February 13th, 2008, had a triple-double. Jordan Clarkson, January 1st, 2024. That's the first Jazz triple-double in 15 years. Here's some numbers to put that into perspective. You ready?
Yeah.
The all-time leader in triple-doubles in NBA history is
Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook. He has 198 triple-doubles in his career. All of them took place after Carlos Boozer's triple-double for the Jazz. So every single triple-double Russell Westbrook has had in his career has taken place in that 15 years since the Jazz last had one. Just some more perspective. Nikola Jokic, he's got 116. He's only been playing since 2015. So he's fourth all-time with 116. But, yeah, a rarefied air. Obviously, a couple of, Larry Markkinen, first and foremost, former Wildcat on that team, huge smile, and there was a lot of chest bumps, and their coach even said, I think they were up by 25 or 30 at the time, about 3 minutes to go in the game. That's the time when normally you pull your starters out. Their coach said, go back and get a rebound. So they wanted to do that for the fans, a little bit of stat padding slightly, but he did. That was a legitimate rebound. If you see the highlight, he did go and get it. So congrats to Jordan Clarkson, ending the, quote, futility of the Utah Jazz not being able to get a triple-double.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
When you think about it. Jordan Clarkson, wow. First triple-double.
Well, who was the team that didn't have a no-hitter like forever? There was one Major League Baseball team that for some anomaly just hadn't thrown. I don't remember who it was, but hadn't thrown a no-hitter. It's a similar thing. I mean, it's not as if a triple-double means a win or that you're trying to get triple-doubles when you go out there. It's just a matter of having a guy, who's capable of filling up the stat sheet like that. But it seems difficult to do to go 15 years without having a single player.
Yeah, you would think somebody did.
Just backwards their way into it just by getting, a few extra rebounds that they normally wouldn't or that kind of thing. Larry certainly is capable. I mean, he's a guy who can fill it up, but he's been such their, go-to leading scorer lately. There aren't a lot of assists to be had from the position that in the dunker spot and the, the fade to the wing spot for three. So, Clarkson, very, very good player. He's had a bit of a career rebirth the last few years with the Jazz, so good to see that.
520-848-1290 is our phone number. If you want to talk to us today, if you've got something that you want to say about Arizona football and their Alamo Bowl win over Oklahoma, finishing the season with 7 straight wins. They'll take that into next season, the fourth longest, tied for the fourth longest win streak in FBS football heading into the 2024 season. We can talk about Arizona men's basketball and their things that are going well, things that are not going well. For them, obviously, coming off an 18-point loss at the Stanford Cardinal today. I said it that I was out at the book yesterday, out at the Desert Diamond Casino, and one of the things that was on the television there was hockey. They played the NHL's annual Outdoor Winter Classic yesterday. The Vegas Golden Knights were on the road at the Seattle Kraken. They played this game at the T-Mobile Baseball Stadium, which this is, I believe, the third year in a row that they have played this event at a baseball stadium. Now, the difference and what kind of caught my eye, and I caught the tail end just as the game was ending, and then the post-game show, and usually when I've watched this in the past, I'm used to watching the guys on the post-game show, and they've got, it's like fur coats on, and what do they call those winter hats that you would see maybe up in Minnesota if you were out hunting with all the, the dead animals on them and whatnot.
Sure.
But these guys were hardly wearing any jackets. Only one guy was wearing gloves. And I'm thinking to myself, well, it doesn't look like it's real cold there. And so I looked it up. The temperature yesterday in Seattle was low 40s degrees. And it got me thinking again, I get it. Seattle, they're excited about their hockey team. They played over the last year. I believe they went, if not all the way to the Western Conference Finals, they were in the semifinals. So they got a good team. They're playing against the Knights, who are the defending Stanley Cup champions. So you got a really great matchup there, West Coast matchup. You know I'm all about the West Coast and us out here. So you got two powerful West Coast teams. But I start thinking to myself, does this really make sense? Does this make sense to have an outdoor Winter Classic hockey game in a warm weather climate? And not necessarily. I mean, yeah, it gets chilly in Seattle, but it's certainly not winter in Seattle. Seattle does not get winter. It's not like snowing. It's not like, I think there was 4 or 5 years ago when it was -5 degrees in Boston or wherever they had it.
Right.
This is the second time in 5 years they played this at a warmer weather venue. They played it in Dallas the year before the pandemic, 2019. It was 68 degrees. 68 degrees. They had issues with the ice. I mean, and they had actually prepared for that. They had prepared for the fact that it was going to be warm, and they still had issues.
Do they have a short setup for the kit for hockey gear? Could they switch out
shorts?
Yeah, wear shorts if it gets a little too hot.
I think they've done that. I think they've had games like that. I don't know if that would make sense, right? If you're playing a Winter Classic in 68-degree weather. And so my question of the day, and I actually messed this up. I put it on my Twitter account, so I had to flip it over and put it on both now. So now you can actually find this on my Twitter account at David Kelly 1290, but it is also now up on our Wildcats 1290 Twitter account as well. So we'll have to combine the numbers. But anyway, does it make sense to have an NHL Winter Classic in a city that does not have a traditional winter? That's my question of the day today. So you can call us with a response to that, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can text us with a response to that as well. You can go to our app, and you can do a bunch of different ways to respond on our app. You can text us a response through our app. You can give us an audio response through our app. You can give us a video response if you want to make a video of yourself talking about, DK, this is why it matters that we play the Winter Classic in a warm weather. Can you imagine them playing that game here?
No.
I mean, in Arizona?
No. It's dangerous, right? We're talking about professional athletes.
Yeah, exactly. I would think so. I would think that's part of it. Part of it is the danger in it.
45, 50 degrees, whatever, during the day. They got some crazy technology to keep the ice cold and all that. But if you're talking about, Phoenix, Vegas, Tucson, Texas, there's a lot of places. You said they had it in Dallas at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, in fact, I think it was 2019 they played it in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean
68 degrees.
I just think it's a little bit you're getting a little unsafe, right? I felt the same way about the aircraft carrier basketball games. If there's no wind and it's just a clear day, that's great. But if there's some drizzle, rain, or the spray coming up off the water is a little bit too much because there's a lot of the bay is a little bit, angry that day. Well, guess what? I mean, any kind of perspiration on the court, that can lead to some incredibly serious injuries. And I think anytime you're talking about melting ice while you're skating around during a professional major league, NHL game, they have to. There has to be a middle ground there, DK, where you don't schedule outdoor games in Phoenix for the NHL.
All right, so right now I'm having to do math in my head
Uh-oh.
because I've got two different polls running here so far. So I'm doing math in my head. Right now, we've got about 19 votes on this. 10 people say yes, play this in every city. 9 people say no, 35 degrees or lower. Shannon checks in on Twitter at Wildcats1290. She says bad ice leading to injury would only be the only real concern, regardless of location. If you can keep the ice good, play anywhere. Winter cities aren't necessarily cold, cloudy enough anyway. Lake Tahoe, spectacular site, still had bad ice injury concerns due to sun.
Let's be clear, though. I mean, I think having events in Phoenix, in Tucson, in places in the desert, in Texas, is amazing because you know why? Because you're introducing, hockey at the highest level to a bunch of kids who haven't had an opportunity to maybe see that, David Kelly. So as far as spreading it around the country, I'm all about that. Outdoor hockey games in places where you don't traditionally see ice on the ground, I think can be problematic.
This goes back all the way to the early part of this century. I think Michigan and Michigan State did it initially. They called it the
War
Cold
is what they called
War.
it.
Exactly. Back in about 2003 or 4, somewhere around
2001, October 6th.
Yeah. They played it outside at Michigan Stadium.
Yep.
Now, they've played the Winter Classic at Michigan Stadium. So they played this at some football facilities where I think they had over 105,000 for the Winter Classic game at Michigan. When they played it there, they also played it I believe they played it in Minneapolis maybe, where it was like 80,000 people were there. So, I mean, they played this in some pretty big places where they've had some pretty large crowds. The last 3 years I mentioned, they've played this game at baseball stadiums. Last year at Fenway Park drew 40,000. Yesterday they had 47,000 in Seattle, 40,000 at Fenway last year. Target Field in Minnesota the year before, they had 39. So it was the Cotton Bowl was the one they played in Dallas. That was where they had 86,000 there. They played at Notre Dame Stadium the year before, 76,000 at Notre Dame Stadium, 40,000 at Citi Field in New York, 46,000 in St. Louis, 67,000 at Foxborough at Gillette Stadium. 2014 was the year they played it in Ann Arbor, the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings, and that was the year they had 106,000 people show up for the Winter Classic.
They love hockey in Michigan, that's for sure.
Yeah, so they've had it at Buffalo, Chicago, Boston, Pittsburgh, Philly, Ann Arbor twice. So they had it at back-to-back years. Oh, I'm sorry. Ann Arbor they were supposed to have it there in 2013, got suspended because of the lockout. So Ann Arbor, Washington, Foxborough, St. Louis, Queens, Notre Dame, and then Dallas, Minneapolis twice, Boston, and now Seattle.
But not Orlando.
No, they don't have a hockey team in Orlando. I think at least that would have to be the baseline prerequisite is you have to have some hockey, some NHL hockey within at least an hour. Well, they got Tampa Bay. I mean, yeah, Tampa Bay is close to Orlando, I guess.
Isn't like 65% of all of Florida Northeasterners who have transplanted themselves down there, they're all hockey fans.
And that would be interesting. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning have been one of the best teams in the league for the last 5-6 years. To 2 Stanley Cups in a row and lost a chance to win a third in a row. So why not? I would be I would be interested to see it if they wanted to play it down there. My guy James Kelly over at the Daily Star, he chimed in that he would love to see a game at Arizona Stadium between the Roadrunners and the U of A hockey team. How about that? A doubleheader, or maybe even a doubleheader with the Roadrunners and the U of A hockey team playing an outdoor game at Arizona Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these are heritage type things where it's the the main club versus one of their minor league club teams.
Yeah.
So, Calgary versus Calgary, for instance. So maybe the 2 Arizona teams could play. Again, I don't know. You would have to, what day would you pick for that?
It would have to be in January when it's, relative. I mean, I think you could do that at night here in January. I mean, it's like Thursday. It's supposed to be down into the 30s.
You'd have to, how about a 1 a.m.? Drop the puck at 1 a.m. Then you'll be guaranteed that it'll be cold enough.
A midnight madness.
Sure, why not?
A midnight madness in January. Yeah, it's cold enough on some nights. You could definitely.
Well,
we could definitely do that.
We get those 40-degree swings here where, it's 45 in the morning and then 75 in the afternoon and then back down to 40 in the evening.
Oh, man, we are way past the break, aren't we? Way past, just blew past the break. All right, let's get to cricket and traffic.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Kolb and Valencia, and Kolb Road with a collision clearing. Closure downtown, 6th Street closed between Stone Avenue and Church Avenue, closed to all traffic until October. Weather-wise, 41 our overnight low, 66 tomorrow, and 61 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Shop the closeout event now at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, get an extra 20% off in-store clearance appliances. Valid 12/28/23 through 1/3/24. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for details.
License 240693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
Wildcat fans, join head coach Adia Barnes and the Arizona women's basketball team in McHale Center this season. Single game tickets start as low as $17 and are available for purchase now. You won't want to miss the fierce competition coming to Arizona. Tickets are available at ArizonaWildcats.com/WBK. Arizona women's basketball. Let's pack McHale Center.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Here's wishing you a safe and happy new year. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Don't let heating and plumbing problems spoil 2024. When you need us, make a resolution to call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years. We are proud to serve you.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-736-6158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-736-6158. That's 800-736-6158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-736-6158. Again, 800-736-6158.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. I want to play this, the end of the Arizona Bowl on Saturday at the stadium. It's not an Arizona Bowl if the game does not end dramatically. Here's how it sounded at the end of the game. Toledo was leading Wyoming 15-13.
Fumbled it, but it went out of bounds. That could have been dangerous. Wow. He got it! John Hoyland, the hero! And Wyoming sends Greg Bull off into the sunset as 2023 Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl champions.
Still a storied career here at Wyoming. Coach Bull, hold that trophy high, sir.
Wyoming beats Toledo 16-15. They were down, I believe, 16-3. Or, I'm sorry, they were down 15-3 in that game in the second half. Rallied to win on a last-second field goal. CBS Sports, we carry CBS Sports Radio Network here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We'll talk a bit about that as well because there's some changes if you are not aware. But they rated all 41 of the bowl games this year, and the Arizona Bowl came in at number 7 for that dramatic. It's a dramatic finish every year. It was last year. Ohio beat Wyoming in overtime. The guy I was filming it. He caught the ball coming right into my camera. It was awesome. It was one of the best things I've ever shot in my time as a TV journalist here in Tucson. A few years ago, New Mexico State won in overtime at the end of the game. So there have been a lot of dramatics in the Arizona Bowl. And this year was a continuation of that. Congratulations to Craig Bull, who wraps up his coaching career in his 10-year run at Wyoming with a victory over the Toledo Rockets, 16-15.
Both those teams, DK, finished the game with exactly 184 yards passing. That's number one. 300 and let's see, quick math, 68 yards passing. 368 for two teams combined. Not a lot of yards gained there through the air, but yeah, 184. That's kind of, I don't know if you could do that if you tried.
No. And it's interesting. This the game was broadcast on linear television. The CW carried it, but it was produced once again by Barstool Sports, and that of course gets a lot of traction. A lot of folks did not like the unconventional broadcast for Barstool Sports. A lot of people did like it, thought it was more like fans calling a game. So, if you want to fall in on how you felt about that, 520-848-1290. I did not watch the game. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to go to the game this year. I was out on the golf course. It was the only day we had off last week, and so I opted to relax and play 18 holes of golf, if you want to call that relaxing, trying to hit the little white ball around
relaxing.
The bar. Shot a 95 over at Rolling Hills. So shout out to Rolling Hills Golf Course. My goal when I play at Rolling Hills is to break 90. That's my goal. And really, I should probably break at least 85. It's not that difficult of a course. It's not a lot of par. There's no par fives. It's all 3s and 4s. I should break 85. My goal is generally 90. I shot 95. So it is what it is. So Barstool, apparently the big cat, he's one of the main personalities at Barstool Sports, came out after the game and says that this is probably the end of their partnership with the Arizona Bowl. They've been in business with the Arizona Bowl now. I believe this was the 4th year. Obviously, it happened in the 2019 was when they did the deal heading into the game in 19, and then obviously the pandemic kind of wiped out the 20 game because the one team got COVID and they had to reroute the other team down to play in the Sun Bowl because one of the teams down there got COVID. So, yeah, it looks like that relationship is over. Happy about that? Unhappy about that? We can discuss that, too. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. It definitely brought the Arizona Bowl, I think, an element of fans that maybe would not have paid any attention to this game or these teams, but love Barstool and kind of go wherever Barstool goes. It was polarizing from the start. There were people that didn't like it. There were people that wanted companies to boycott the Arizona Bowl early when they initially did this deal with Barstool Sports. And so it'll be interesting to see in terms of the main title corporate sponsor, if that is indeed the case, that the Barstool folks are getting out. It'll be interesting to see where the Arizona Bowl goes from here, and if they can continue, what they have started in doing a fabulous job of, one, putting on fun football to watch, usually the night before or the day before New Year's, and be able to raise money to give back to the many organizations that they do so here in the city of Tucson in southern Arizona.
The whole point of Barstool's always been polarizing, right? I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
They started as a magazine in Boston. So, I mean, are there any more polarizing, opinionated fans in all of sportsdom than
Boston?
Massachusetts sports fans,
Yeah.
DK? And oftentimes bring up a subject literally just with the intention to get in an argument about it. So, yeah, but that's always been what they do. So it's no surprise that there are people who are on both sides of that coin. A lot of people, you get sick of the same old, you want to shake things up, see something new. There's that camp. And then there's this is, not what I want to be watching or seeing. And neither is correct. It's just something different.
Yeah. So CBS did their thing based on the actual game. So Arizona Bowl was 7th. The famous Toastery Bowl between Western Kentucky and Old Dominion, that was number 6. Western Kentucky won 38-35 in overtime. The Sugar Bowl was 5th last night. Number 2 Washington beating Texas.
What did they have, like 4th and 17 on like the 15-yard line? 4th
Something
and goal?
like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I mean, when you're talking about a final play to win the game in the semifinal for the national championship, doesn't get much better than that.
No. The Real Quest Bowl, LSU, this one just kind of flew under the radar. I didn't even see this game. But LSU beat Wisconsin 35-31. That was number 4. Number 3, how about this? Number 3, the New Orleans Bowl. Jacksonville State, Rich Rodriguez and his boys beating Louisiana 34-31 in overtime. Number 2 is the Gator Bowl. Clemson's victory over Kentucky 38-35. That was a really good game. Unfortunately, losing end for Mark Stoops and company. And number 1 on the list for CBS Sports was the Rose Bowl. Michigan's win over Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that came out of these last 4 teams left, right? 2 good games.
Yeah.
And hopefully the national championship
Which
game
is what you want. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I don't think we'll get a blowout this year. At least you hope not. All right, we will have much more coming up for you. We're going to hear from Arizona women's basketball in the next hour. Huge win, but they win by 37 points over Seattle. You'll hear from the ladies coming up. You'll also hear from KJ Lewis, his thoughts on the Wildcats' loss at Stanford. All of that is straight ahead. We're only going till 5:30. It's 5 o'clock. I haven't mentioned that yet. The show only goes to 5:30 today because we've got the Adia Barnes show coming up for you from the Sands Club at 5:30. Derek Palmer and Adia will be there. So we've got about another half hour with you. It's DK on the Sports Tip, and you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collision at Valencia and Kolb Road and Valencia for a crash clearing. And the westbound I-10 on and off ramps at Sunset Road closed until late 2025. Weather-wise, 41 our overnight low, 66 tomorrow, and 61 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. Ends 2/10/24. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Listen, the last way I want to start the new year is by doing this. However, the next person who buys a ticket specifically to watch the Ref Show will be the first person in the history of mankind to buy a ticket specifically to watch The Ref Show. I don't think you can even find any takers for free tickets to The Ref Show because nobody is interested in The Ref Show because The Ref Show is still the worst show on air. Somebody should probably let the NFL in on that, though, because for some reason, the NFL thinks that we want to see that. They seem to think that the worst show on the air is the show that we all are here to see. Like, we appreciate referee drama, when in reality, nobody anywhere ever wants that at all. And everybody everywhere is tired of way too many enormous mistakes in enormous situations. The Ref Show, same as it ever was, only worse.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Start the new year off with a bang of big savings during the Omaha Steaks end-of-season event. You can stock up on all your favorites and get 50% off site-wide. That's 50% off perfectly aged tender steaks, juicy burgers, decadent desserts, and even classic comfort meals. Go to omahasteaks.com, and when you use code SIZZLE at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code SIZZLE at checkout for an extra $30 off your order. Minimum purchase may apply.
Omaha Steaks, America's original butcher.
1290 has earned the right to be named after the Arizona Wildcats. That's why you'll never see us skip leg day.
Haven't had a carb since 2004.
1290 is the home of the Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Attention Tucson! Remember, if it's game day and the Wildcats are taking the floor, you can count on 1290 to bring you all the play-by-play action, the biggest pre- and post-game show in the Pac-12. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that brings you the Jed Fish and Tommy Lloyd radio shows. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. Professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sports fans in Tucson can't survive without 1290. In the fall, we bring you Arizona football, the NFL, and the Super Bowl. Then 1290 brings you Arizona men's basketball. And in the spring, Arizona baseball. Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Final 30 minutes with you today. We'll take you to 5:30. The Adia Barnes Show is coming up. We mentioned at the top of our show, if you were not with us, that Arizona has dropped to number 10, the men's basketball team in the AP Top 25 poll. They've also, according to ESPN's bracketology, which is put out by Joe Lunardi, dropped out of a number 1 seed in the West to a number 2 seed in the West. Number 1 seed now in the West is Kansas, according to Joe Lunardi. And the team that moves up, but they were already number 1 seed. He just reshifted them from one conference to the next, or one region to the next. The team that moves up as a result of Arizona dropping out of Joe Lunardi's way too early bracketology is UConn. So the defending champs get the elevation to the number 1 spot in the East now. 4 teams does he have from the Pac-12 in the dance. And 2 of those 4 teams are the next teams on the schedule, the Colorado Buffaloes and the Utah Utes. Colorado on Thursday night, that will be a game that will start at 7:30 here in Tucson. Our coverage will begin at, our pregame coverage will begin at 3:30. We will do a half hour. We'll have a half hour for you from 3 to 3:30 on Thursday leading into our pregame coverage. And then we'll have the Murray Moth Management Countdown to Ship-Off show between 3:30 and 6:30 on Thursday. Saturday's game is also an evening affair at McHale Center. That'll start at 6 o'clock. The first few home games Saturdays are evenings, and then we'll get back to some daytime basketball, I believe, in the month of February, which will kind of be nice to be done a little bit earlier on a Saturday and have some time off. But let's do our insider right now, and our insider is going to be an Arizona basketball player today.
It's the 5 o'clock hour, and it's time for your Arizona Insiders.
Oh, sweet.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A basketball. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona basketball. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
And our Arizona Insider is KJ Lewis. Let's hear from KJ after the Wildcats lost 100-82 to the Stanford Cardinal.
You guys have been so solid defensively. What do you attribute today to? Just, shooting right ahead?
I think it just on our end, just a lack of communication, maybe just a lack of discipline. I think it was a team like a team thing. Like, we just weren't all on the same page. Credit to them. They moved well without the ball. They found the open man. They finished tough. They made tough shots, and I think we just go into practice, either whether it's tomorrow or Monday, or tomorrow or Tuesday, and just tying things up.
How much of that do you think is maybe mental? You guys came off a big win the other night. Come out here, it's half full. A lot of people rooting for you guys. Is it easy to or make part of it kind of not being as all out as you guys usually are?
I don't think it's a mental thing. I think we just didn't come in, respecting them. I think the lack of respect that we had for them as a team and their coaching staff, it kind of showed. I think, we're all going to get together as a group and, figure things out, whether it's, we got to, play with a chip on our shoulder from this point on.
Do you think any of that carried over offensively? You guys, again, weren't as effective as you usually are offensively as well. I don't know.
I think it was just a little team thing. Us not moving the ball as well as we usually do, not moving without the ball, and just not trusting our fundamentals and trusting Coach Lloyd's plan.
Yeah. They're a tough matchup then for you guys. I mean, the last few years they've been tough. I know you're freshmen, but I didn't know. Is there something that struck you about them? Their bigs out shooting threes, anything like that?
No, nothing that surprised me. I mean, every time they play, or Arizona plays Stanford, I always watched before I was here. They play with a chip on their shoulder when they play us. Their guys get ready, they get prepared. You can see that tonight. I think we just hit the ground running from this point on.
Yeah, everyone's gonna come out their best against you guys. This kind of was that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about anything, particularly that they were throwing at you defensively? That, like you said, you guys weren't moving the ball well. Did they do anything to kind of disrupt that, or do you think that was more you guys?
I know on a lot of screens they went under on most of us.
Yeah.
That help side, double and O. They did a better job offensive and defensive rebounding than us. I think they just play harder. They wanted it a little bit more than us, and I think that's what it really came down to.
Where do you go from here? Like when you say go back, you go back to the drawing board. Do you think it'll make practices any different this week, or anything different you can do?
No, for sure it makes practice a lot different. We got to do a better job of, taking the scout and the preparation a lot better, trusting each other better, and trusting the coaching staff and what they see. We just got to be locked in on cylinders.
Yeah. Okay. And then just, has there been any talk about just now that you're in the conference and how the race, might go, or, I know you guys were kind of considered favorites and still probably are, but I didn't know if that.
No talks. We just taking everything game by game. We know these road games are going to be really hard. Like you said, every opposing team is going to have their best game or try to have their best game against us. So we just got to match their energy and match their, competitiveness in there.
Cool.
No better insider there than KJ Lewis.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
KJ in that ball game the other day had a much better second half than a first half. Finished 3 of 10 from the floor. Scored 9 points for Arizona. Talked about the Wildcats needing to communicate better on defense than they have to try to defend the three-point line better than what we've seen. It seems to be right now the issue. And I've talked about it for a number of weeks in terms of, again, the opponent's ability at times to straight line drive on Arizona. And that could be something that you've got to figure out moving forward. If you're going to try to get out further on the three-point line to defend that, if you're going to then be giving up more of those straight line drives to the basket. And I'd like to see maybe some of those interior guys, especially Umar Ballo, if that's the case, if those guys get by the first line of defense and Umar's got to be in there to defend on the second level, for him to be more aggressive at times and try to go for a block where I've mentioned that he just seems at times to wall up and guys will score over him walling up. So it's going to be something that Tommy Lloyd and his coaching staff are going to have to figure out for this Arizona team as they move into the next phase of the Pac-12 schedule, which will be this weekend at home against Colorado and Utah. Colorado on Thursday, and then Utah Saturday. Both those games will be in the evening. The ladies will also play Colorado and Utah. We will hear from them coming up in our final segment ahead of the Adia Barnes Show, which is coming up for you at 5:30. We'll hear from the ladies after their win, 37-point victory over the Seattle Redhawks at McHale Center on Sunday. Joined by once again, the third member of our program is Cricket. Cricket is here. So, Cricket, do you believe in New Year's resolutions?
So. I mean, it's always nice to have goals,
So what are your goals then? For
Walk more dogs.
Walk more dogs.
Every year I always say I want to save more money, get more sleep, and walk more.
So yeah, because you have the interesting schedule where you are here in the mornings and then in the afternoon. So do you try to sleep in between, or just is this when you get home at 7, maybe get down a little bit earlier before you have to get up again?
I try to, but it's hard to like nap knowing that you have to like be back at work in a few hours.
Right,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's not comfortable, like, because then I would probably dream that I was late for work or something. You know what I mean? I just really can't relax enough to
How many
like
cell
nap.
phones do you have to set to make sure you get up if you take that midday nap?
Like 2. Mhm. What about you? Do you do New Year's resolutions?
I'm not really into that thing. I was never really into New Year's resolutions. I think at the beginning of every year you think about maybe some things that you want to do. Whether it was like, well, last year I was kind of just now the whole lexicon of the potential of being here was coming onto my radar, and so that was kind of my thing. As I was kind of thinking about, is this what I really want to do? Do I want to make this move? Is this a good time to make a move if I wanted to go back to radio? And so that was kind of, if I'm going to do that, how do I work that out? Because there were a lot of moving pieces that needed to be figured out, because I was in contractually, I had a contract on the TV side, how I was going to, be able to maneuver that to potentially have an opportunity to come here. So I was thinking probably more along the lines of career and those types of things more so than, I think we all, the common thing is you want to work out more and that kind of thing. And I just try to be consistent with my fitness level, and sure, do I need to maybe spend less time at work? I think is probably one of the goals I have this year, and one of the reasons I took this job. I think the hours are more beneficial for me, maybe spending less time in the office than I was in TV. So I think that would, if there was one thing I would say, I want to maybe not grind as much as I have over the course of my life working, because I tend to grind a lot.
That's a good goal.
Yeah, so grind less, enjoy life more.
Yes.
Would be my number one. How about you, J-Dub?
Yeah, that sounds good. Grind less.
Sure.
I'm not really a resolution kind of person. I think I have daily resolutions, more or less. Like I'm such a live in the moment kind of person that whole thing of like, losing 20 pounds in the next 6 months or whatever. I think it's more of a just daily, be mindful and be, aware of what I'm doing and make choices in the moment. I think is my biggest resolution every year is to be less pattern-based and be more mindful of making decisions for myself in the moment instead of just autopilot, which is what most people do every day of their lives, if we're honest.
Did you stay up for the ball drop, or
no?
No, you did not. What time were you out on New Year's Eve?
I feel like maybe it was like 10,
10?
maybe 10:30. Yeah.
Okay.
But then it sounded like, a battle zone in my ghetto neighborhood, just bangs and booms. And
so you couldn't really sleep anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Truth.
All right. So what's like when you wake up New Year's Day, is there one thing what's the first thing you do when you wake up on New Year's Day? Do you like grab anything and say, okay, here we go?
Coffee.
As I've said in the past, my
coffee.
dad, when he got older, my dad was, I think, 43 when I was born. So he was already old by the time I was aware of anything. But as he got older into his 50s and 60s, he got up every New Year's Day and watched the sunrise. So he didn't stay up until midnight to say goodbye to the previous year. He watched the sunrise of the new year every year, and that was his thing that he did.
Nice.
That's an interesting way to go about it. Did he have like something? Did he grab a cup of cocoa, or was he a coffee guy and kind of go out or did he go?
At the time
I
was 15, and 15-year-olds don't watch the sunrise, so I couldn't tell you.
Did he go anywhere to do that, or was it like easy to do?
Foothills of Tucson's a good place to watch the sunrise. Yeah. No, I don't think there's any specific place, but my dad was a 5-6 mile everyday walker kind of person, so I believe most of those New Year's days was probably on his morning walk.
All right, very good.
Nice.
All right, well, here we go, 2024, guys. Let's make it the best year ever.
Yes.
And we'll start with getting people home every 20 minutes on the fives. Cricket does that, and she does it better than anyone. Here's your traffic.
Oh, from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Reported collisions, New Crash, Valencia, and Midvale Park. Also reported Grant Road and Tanque Campbell, south of Fort Lowell, and Colbin, Valencia's clearing. 41 are overnight lows, 66 tomorrow, and 59 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. As the world keeps changing, so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're designed to help protect against recent variants. Learn more about a COVID-19 vaccine option at schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Knocked away by Love and a steal. Off to KJ Lewis. Slams it home. And Arizona up by 6. Oh, what a big play.
DK on the Sports Tip. 3 to 6 weekdays.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and make 2024 the year you are back living normal life again. Hey, it's David Kelly. QC Kinetics can give you your life back. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. These are all natural treatments that can repair and restore that damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement once again. If you've got pain from an old injury or pain associated with arthritis, you need to check this out. The future of medicine is here. Regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. Make the call now so you can get the most out of this next year. Get back to doing what you love. And don't forget, you can use your HSA and your FSA. All those funds can go to QC Kinetics. Call them for a free consultation. 2 locations here in Tucson, off of Academy, off of Orange Grove. 520-497-4955, 520-497-4955, QC Kinetics.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744. 800-410-6744.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store, so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on, with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, the Arizona women's basketball team got a big win on Sunday. They knocked off Seattle 89-52. We've got the Adia Barnes Show coming up in about 9 minutes for you here at the bottom of the hour, live from the Sands Club on the campus of the University of Arizona at Arizona Stadium. It'll be Adia Barnes and Derek Palmer as always. 7,500 at McHale saw the Wildcats get that win. It was a tremendous performance for Kailyn Gilbert. She had 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, just 4 assists shy of a triple-double. We'll have to see if anybody's had a triple-double in Arizona women's basketball history. I would imagine somebody probably has. But let's hear from Brea Cunningham and Kailyn Gilbert. Brea had 10 points and 8 rebounds in the ball game. Let's hear what the ladies had to say after the game.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
So your defense really took over today. Was obviously, I would imagine that was a big emphasis over the last few days to get over that hump of, especially of the end of the second quarter into the third quarter, and that's really when you went full court press, and you did a lot of that. Was that a big emphasis for you guys?
Yes, all throughout this entire week, it was just defense. So, yeah.
How are you feeling about that, Kailyn?
Defense?
Yeah.
You have to play defense, so I don't really care too much for it. So, yeah.
How would you evaluate this non-conference period, and how does this kind of a win help propel you into full conference play now?
So I think that we had a pretty tough non-conference schedule. You know, we played some tough teams. So I feel like handling that adversity, kind of seeing what team we are, and then just being able to bounce back. I mean, we just lost to Gonzaga, and you know, we just get to come out here and play a great game, and then go into conference with a bang. So.
First quarter, a little slow getting started. Do you feel like that was Seattle and their defense? I noticed they were doing some zone a little bit there. What did you feel like kind of held you back a little bit in that first quarter, but then you guys excelled in that second quarter?
I think it was just getting a feel for the game again. I mean, we haven't played in a while. We went home, so it's just coming back from the break. Even myself, I was just trying to get back into the rhythm. So I don't really think it was anything defensively that Seattle was doing. I think it was just us.
Jada started it out really. She drew a charge, and she also got her own 10-second violation for forced them to do that. Did that sort of help the rest of you sort of get going? And then I noticed that Courtney and Ez off the bench were a big spark for you as well.
Yeah, Jada's are kind of like what kind of gets us going in the game. She has a lot of energy. So just her getting going, it kind of picks everything else up in the game. So when she started doing that in the first quarter, it just fed our energy as a team, and we just feed off of that energy, and that's what kind of got us moving through the first quarter, and what we kept going in the second quarter.
For you, Brea, we had talked before about that sort of letdown, that second quarter, third quarter sort of thing. How do you think that whatever you did over the last couple of days sort of has changed, and now you're ready for Pac-12 play?
I mean, we haven't really changed anything. It's just we're more conscious of it, like going into halftime, knowing that we have to keep that energy up, and it's something that we're very focused on. But I don't know. It's not really something that we've changed. It's something that something that we know we have to fix and what we're constantly working towards. So every game we've gotten better at it. Like even today, we did have some letdowns in the third quarter, but nothing as bad as we are usually used to. So we're just getting better at that as the games go on.
Kailyn, 6 assists, only 1 turnover in 31 minutes. Some of your turnovers in past games have been the offensive fouls. How are you working? Because you didn't, that wasn't a big problem today for you. Mm-hmm. How are you working to kind of keep those down?
Just kind of being more conscious of what I'm doing. I don't usually turn it over with pressure. It's more so a sagging defense, just getting in too deep, and then just watching a lot of film. Really, that's the main thing.
What were you seeing today? Because your reads were better. You had 6 assists, which is good. Plus, you had the 3 steals. So, and obviously the rebounds. What were you seeing on the court today that you were able to do that?
I wouldn't say I really saw anything. I just think that's how I play. So, yeah, just kind of just getting really a feel for the game. It's all a feel. I don't really consider it a read. It's just like you make a move, and then whatever happens from there happens from there. So, yeah.
You had six of you guys scored figures. How important is it to have that, everyone that can contribute when you guys don't have, shorter bench?
It's just it's important to us that a lot of people are in double figures because it means that we're playing team basketball and sharing the ball as a team. So, and then it also it's important now since we're lower in numbers, but that everybody contributes as much as they can. But I mean, we've always had like a couple people in the higher scoring just as we play better games with moving the ball. So, like as we get better moving the ball and playing as a team, like we're gonna always have multiple people in double figures. So.
And Brea, how does it help you to play with ISIS on the court next to you, or even with Ez? How do they help you do better?
I would say they help me in different ways. Like playing with ISIS, who's usually a post. It like us playing together, it forces us to both know like 4 and 5, move without the ball a little bit more. Playing with Ez is more aggressive, so like. She's more like energetic and everything, so like she's more aggressive on defense, and it makes me have to be more aggressive on defense to get into help and everything like that. So, we're always constantly making each other better when we play. So.
And how do you think you've grown through the non-conference season?
Just being a freshman, just learning the new speed of the game and getting used to the new rotations and everything as a team. I think these games have really helped me like be comfortable in the team and in our sets and everything, that when we go into conference play, we're more gelled as a team, and I feel more comfortable in my position and my role in the team.
Kailyn, what are you seeing in Brea's growth?
Man, Brea has came a long way. I really think that she's one of the most improved on the team. I just feel like the main thing for her is foul trouble, and I think she's being like more just aware of it, like knowing that she can't go for certain plays because she is very foul prone. So, yeah, Brea's came a long way.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Brea Cunningham, Kailyn Gilbert, Arizona women's basketball will play Colorado and Utah this week. We've got more women's basketball coming up for you. It's the Adia Barnes Radio Show, live from the Sands Club. That wraps it up for us today. Thanks to JW Madden Cricket, Nate Rady in there right now. Thanks most of all to you for listening. We will talk to you tomorrow, Tuesday. Have a great night, everybody.